Thank you. Yeah. So Purusha Sukta is the only mantra that is in all of the Veda Shakhas. Rik, 16 mantras. In Yajurveda, the two versions of Yajurveda, which is Shukla Yajurveda and Krishna Yajurveda, both of them, but number of mantras are different. So in one, I think it's in 23 mantras, that's 18 plus 5. And the other one, it's in 18. Samaveda, it is 5. Purusha Sukta in Samaveda is 5. It is sung differently. It is 5 riks. And then in Atharva Veda also, it is there. So there is like all of these different Veda Shakhas, Purusha Sukta is there. It is very important. Why is Purusha Sukta important? So if you have not attended the Gayatri Mantra class, I said that in the Gayatri Mantra class, we went through, the basics of how Gayatri Mantra has emerged. It is not like the first mantra, right? The Gayatri Mantra is not the first mantra, or Purusha Sukta is not the first sukta, in the Rig Veda. So what it is in the 10th mandala, and not even the first, sukta in the 10th mandala. It is the 90th sukta in the Rig Veda. So it is somewhere, it is there. Why is it so important, right? So the position that it occupies is not important, right? The importance is there, like the Puranas say, the importance comes to it from a different angle. It is not like whether it's the first is important and the last one is important. Those are not what it is. So let's go to the Gayatri Mantra. So I said there are two kinds of creation, right? When we're talking about Gayatri Mantra, I said there are two kinds of creation. One is the material creation. What is the bija for material creation? The seed from which the whole universe has come, Prakriti, right? Jada Prakriti is the one that is evolved into this universe. And then it goes back again into Jada Prakriti. And that's, like I said, it goes back and forth. It is a beginningless and endless. That's one. There's a second creation called knowledge creation. So material creation comes from Jada, the Prakriti. Knowledge creation comes from which? What is the bija for that?
Omkaram.
Knowledge creation comes from Om, right? Om is the bija. So just like Prakriti is the bija for universe, Om is the bija for, that means everything is within Om. And in the Gayatri Mantra, I've shown it's not just saying that everything is there, so making it more mystical. It is actually, we resolved that and then showed how it evolves into different things. So all of knowledge, they say, is contained in Omkara. And then what they do, they resolve Omkara into 8 parts: Akara, Ukara, Makara, Nada, Bindu, Shanta, Atishanta. And of the 8 parts, 5 is beyond. Like I said, 3, right? In the 10 big ideas, I said what? What was the second big idea? Or the third big idea?
Trigunas.
The concept of Trigunas, right? The universe is not made of many different things. The universe is made of 3 basic bricks that repeats everywhere, right? That is the whole concept of Triguna is 3. In Vedanta, 3 means everything. 3, because the basic, everything basically can be resolved into 3 gunas, sattva, rajas, tamo guna. Everything comes back to 3. The material sattva, rajas, tamo guna in the knowledge becomes akara, ukara, makara, right? That is the world in which we live. The samsara is triguna, and then in the knowledge realm, the same thing, it becomes akara, ukara, makara, right? So akara is rajas, ukara is sattva, makara is tamas. Okay. So then what happens? Akara gets resolved into 3. I said 8. Let's leave the 5.
Not on.
Hey, can you mute yourself, please? Everybody mute yourself. Right. So there is akara, ukara, makara. And then the knowledge creation says the next step for akara, ukara, makara is vyakritis. the three Vyakritis. What are the three Vyakritis? Bhuhu, Bhuvaha, Swaha. Bhuhu, Bhuvaha, Swaha. That's the three Vyakritis. And the meanings are, I've detailed that in the Gayatri Mantra, so I'll not go. But then the Bhuhu, Bhuvaha, Swaha emerges itself into the three padas of Gayatri. Gayatri is three parts, right? Gayatri Chandas itself is three parts of 8, 8, 8, 8. 24 aksharas, 8, 8, 8 is Gayatri Mantra. So Gayatri is three parts, right? It's said to be three-legged, which is three parts of the verse. The 24 aksharas, 8 times 3. So that becomes Gayatri Mantra. Okay. Now Gayatri Mantra becomes three parts of Purusha Sukta. So Purusha Sukta becomes Purusha Sukta becomes three parts of Gayatri Mantra. 1, 2, 3 lines of Gayatri Mantra becomes three parts of Purusha Sukta. Purusha Sukta, I said, is 16, right? It's 16 riks. 5, 5, 6. That's how it is divided into. There's first 5 riks, then the next 5 riks, and then the final 6 riks. You'll see what that is, during the class. And then it says the Vedas emerge from Purusha Sukta's three parts. Rik, Yajus, Sama is Purusha Sukta's first 5, second 5, last 6. And then Sarvajnana comes from Veda. So the just like Prakriti has created this whole universe, the same way Omkara has created the whole knowledge world. That is the Jnana. The Jnana Srishti starts with Omkara becoming Akara, Ukara, Makara, that becoming Bhur, Bhuvasvaha, that becoming the Gayatri three parts, that becoming the three parts of Purusha Sukta, and that becoming Rik, Yajus, Sama, and that becoming the whole of the Vangmaya, which means the whole of the Vangmaya, that is the Akara to Shakara, all the alphabets, all the sounds, Swaras and Vyanjanas, all of them emerge from the Vedas. They're called Aksharas. That means they have no destruction. There's no creation or there's no destruction of these sounds. Right? So that is Sarva Vangmayaha Veda Pratitishthati. Okay, so that is again in the Gayatri Mantra class, which we might do again sometime later. I have given you the details of, no, this is not some mystical way. I've shown exactly what is A, U, Ma, how does it map to Bhur, Bhuvasvaha, how does it map to the three padas of Gayatri, how it maps to Purusha Sukta. I've shown all of that in detail, so I'll not go through that. So we'll focus on the Purusha Sukta. Okay. Now we'll go dive into this. Okay, so that shows the importance of Purusha. Why is Purusha Sukta important? Because it is the Mula of Veda. The Gayatri Mantra has expressed itself more in Purusha Sukta. Purusha Sukta itself expresses more. Like you can say, all of the Vedic summary is in Purusha Sukta. Purusha Sukta summary is in Gayatri Mantra. Gayatri's summary is in Bhur, Bhuvasvaha, Vyakritis. Their summary is in three aksharas, A, U, Ma. Whole summary is in Omkara. Omkara is everything, the seed of everything. Okay. Now, well, let's see. Like I said, this is going to be an expansion of Gayatri. And that is, like I said, 5 is the first. So, Tat Savitur Varenyam. One line of the first line of Gayatri will map to the first 5 riks of Purusha Sukta. Right? Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi will map to the second 5 riks of Purusha Sukta. Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat will map to the last 6 of the Purusha Sukta. So 16 verses divided into 3 parts. In the Samaveda, only the first part is chanted or sung. Only the 5. In the Purusha Sukta of Samaveda has only 5 riks, and it is sung in Samaveda. Okay. Now we go to Purusha Sukta. My question is, why this male sukta? Why are we chanting the male sukta?
Purusha doesn't necessarily male. You told us that before.
That is, everybody should get that imprinted in your minds. Purusha doesn't mean male. Male is a very, very tertiary meaning of Purusha. Purusha doesn't mean male. Purusha means embodied, or and in terms for Paramatma, it is he who is within. That is, and for Jiva is also Purusha. So Stri is also Purusha, because Stri is also embodied, Purusha is also embodied. And then only in the very grossest tertiary sense, Purusha means male. In the Vedic thing, Purusha is not male. Purusha means he who is within, the person who is within. That is Purusha. Right? Now, who is this Purusha then? Who is this Purusha?
The Atma, right?
In the secondary sense, not in the Veda. What is the primary sense of Purusha?
Paramatma. Parabrahman.
Paramatma. And this is mapping to where? I said it connects three things. Purusha Sukta connects three. Yeah, go on, somebody. Vishwarupa Darshana, that Arjuna was seeing. What is that? That is Purusha. See, there is a chapter in Bhagavad Gita called Purushottama Yoga. Kshara Purusha, Akshara Purusha, Kshara, Akshara Purusha, the one who is greater than them. Uttamo, Purushottamaha. Right? Purushottama is nothing but Purusha. In the Gita, where Krishna says, I am the Purushottama, who is that Purushottama? That is the one who was seen in Vishwarupa Darshana, and that is the one who is also connected to what? What do I send every day?
Panchanga.
Vishnu Sahasranama.
Vishnu Sahasranama.
Sorry.
Right? It is not connected to Panchanga, it is connected to Vishnu Sahasranama. So Vishnu Sahasranama is the names of the forms of Vishwarupa Darshana, and that is nothing but Purusha Sukta. So these three are connected. Purusha Sukta is Purushottama. Purushottama is Vishwarupa Darshana. Vishwarupa Darshana is what is being chanted in this Vishnu Sahasranama. All of them are connected to Purusha Sukta. Okay. So that is what you need to remember. Purushottama is the Purusha. That Purusha is what was seen by Arjuna in the Vishwarupa Darshana, where he says, I see innumerable heads, I see innumerable mouths, I see innumerable eyes and legs. And what is that innumerable? That is the first rek of Purusha Sukta is Vishwarupa Darshana, that Arjuna is describing. And that is exactly the names of different forms of those Vishwarupa Darshana that is in Vishnu Sahasranama. Remember, what did I say? In the Vishnu Sahasranama, many names repeat. Some names repeat 5 times, 6 times, some names twice. There's no one unique name. Then why is this redundancy? You can in Vishnu Sahasranama, that means did they run out of imagination? Why they had to say the same thing again and again and again?
They have different meanings.
No, not even different meanings. Even different meanings. Just one name, you can do many niruktis. Different meanings is not different words or different names. Different names are different forms. Paramatma's different forms. When we say Vishwa, there's Vishwa form. Vishwa form is what? Why Vishwa comes first in Vishnu Sahasranama? Why not we start with Vishnu? Why does it say Vishwam Vishnu? Why Vishwa? See, if you go to Mandukya Upanishad, yeah.
Go ahead, sorry.
No, if you go to Mandukya Upanishad, see, it says Omkara is Tripath. There are 3 forms of Paramatma in Omkara. Akara, Ukara, Makara forms, which is Vishwa, Taijasa, Prajna form. That Vishwa, that is Jagrata Avastha, the Lord of waking state. when it describes in Mandukya Upanishad, it says it is elephant headed. That elephant headed is what? That is Vishwa. The Paramatma's form, which is just like you invoke Ganesha, in for Nirvighanata, they're invoking Vishwa, which is the elephant headed form of Vishnu, as the first name, because it is for the non-obstruction of the chant that Bhishma is going to say, right? So that Vishwa. So, okay, I was telling something, and then we took it.
Vishwam.
No, Vishwam, yeah, the Vishwam is the elephant-headed form. So
The
we'll come.
question
So
was,
I was connecting, right? I was connecting the Vishnu Sahasranama, which means Sahasra. It's not 1,000 rupas; it is thousands of rupas. Vishnu Sahasranama is not 1,000 forms; it is 1,000 names of thousands of forms. Thousands of names of thousands of forms. Okay, the same thing is what are seeing in Vishwarupa Darshana. It is completely surrounded him. Arjuna is not seeing anything else. Wherever he sees, one form is opening its mouth and devouring everything. The other form is creating. The other form is sustaining. The other form is giving knowledge. The other form is fighting. Right? So wherever he sees, he's seeing different form in the Vishwarupa Darshana. Right? That each one of the names that is in the Vishnu Sahasranama. And then that whole form is meditated in the Purusha Sukta as the Mula Sukta of all of the Vedas. This is the Mula Sukta of all of the Vedas, from which all of the Vedic meaning, the world of meaning of the Vedas emerges from the Purusha Sukta. Right? So this you have to understand. It is the Bija is Omkara, Akara, Ukara, Makara, Bhur Bhuvasvaha, Gayatri Stripada. Gayatri Stripada becomes the three parts of Purusha Sukta. Purusha Sukta expands into the Vedic meaning. The meaning of the Vedas, all the Vedas emerges from the meaning of Purusha Sukta. Okay, and then Purusha is he who is within. Puri Shete iti Purushaha. That means he is within, and then also Puru Saha iti Purushaha. That means he who is Mahat, who is infinite. That is Puru means infinite. Right? So that is also there. So Anurupa, Brihadrupa, Sarvarupa, that is Paramatma, that is Purusha. Okay. So now let's into Purusha Suktas, the first 5 that maps into the Tat Savitur Varenyam, and then that maps into Bhuhu, that maps into Akara. Okay. And then I want to also talk about, this is Shruti. Nobody has composed this. See, there are different versions in different Vedas. There is variations. There is variations of accents. Everything is there. And each of them are different rishis. So then what did they copy and then, corrupt it? If you ask your Western Indologists, they would say, it started from Rig Veda. They tried to copy and they corrupted, and they'll give a historical narrative of this.
No, I don't think they're wrong. It's prose,
Independently,
poetry, and song. That's how it's expressed in 3 different,
no, it's not 3D. It's many different. It is in Shukla Yajurveda, Krishna Yajurveda. It is in it is in Samaveda. It is in Atharva Veda. All of those things. So each different rishi, when he intuits the mantras, he intuits different versions of these mantras. So that means the Purusha Sukta is not one. There are many Purusha Suktas. So if it was composed, it would have been one. It would have been, but you can also see that the same one will have different rishis. So if it came from right. So if you look at the Atharva Vedas Purusha Sukta and Rig Vedas Purusha Sukta, they're very similar. They're almost the same, which means 2 rishis composed the same thing. No, and that is why it is called Shruti. That means it is not composed by human effort. It is not a Paurusheya. It is apaurushaya. That means this is effortless. That which was not composed by human effort. That is apaurushaya. So that is
Sunil,
all of the Shrutis.
when you say it is different, the Purusha Sukta is different in different Vedas, did you say?
Correct.
So you mean the wording is different?
The accents are different. The number of mantras are different. The wordings are different.
I see. But it is still called Purusha Sukta only.
It's all Purusha Sukta. Yeah. If you go to Yajurveda, Shukla Yajurveda Purusha Sukta, it will be different in the sense that some words are different.
But
And the
it
number
will
of
still have a lot of similarity with each other, right?
yeah. Everything is similar.
Huh.
But some of the words changed. Then there are extra mantras are there. Rigveda is 16 mantras make the 16 riks make the sukta. In Yajurveda, Shukla Yajurveda, it is 18.
Okay, so some little minor differences.
Minor differences are there, yes. No, but if you go to this one, it is in Samaveda, it is only 5, the first 5.
Okay.
In
I think
Krishna
maybe
Yajurveda,
Samaveda has taken what can be sung. I feel they have taken what can be sung.
no,
lends itself
everything
to
can be
music.
sung, but if the version that is found in Samaveda is the first 5 verses, which is Akara, the Akara mapping. That is the only one that is, that part is the Purusha Sukta of the Samaveda. Purusha Sukta of the Krishna Yajurveda is, I believe, 23 verses.
Oh,
So they add 5 more different verses. So different. So this is not like like I said, compare this to Indian music and Western music, right? Indian music is about improv, right? The core of Indian music is improv. Same one, 2 different people will not say the same thing. That is in the whole of Indian philosophy and Indian culture. That is improv is what is valued. In West, how to play the same thing that has been played. You have to put that exactly same stress, everything same, right? So all of those things are there. So if you in India, the same, just like in math, hey, please mute. See, if you look at the what was that? Oh, my train of thought was gone.
Western and the Indian music.
So Indian music is, so like if you look at math, right? The Vedas are like math. If I say derive 5, there's no one way of deriving 5. It's not, you shouldn't say, oh, only 4 plus 1 makes 5. Different people will say, oh, I found that 5 is 3 plus 2. Oh, I found that 1 plus 4 is 5. I found 6 minus 1 is 5. I found 7 minus 2 is 5. So these different versions are all the same, but different rishis are intuiting it in a different way, right? That is Indian culture. Indian culture is about difference, the improv, with the core being the same. In West, it's being the same, and copying the same thing is valued, especially in the in the core of the culture, right? It's kind of copying the same thing is valued. In India, improv is valued, and you can see that in a dance, improv in dance, improv in music. There's all the core is improv. Even though if you come to film music, it's gone, right? It's all gone now. But if you go to classical dance, classical music, the core is not anything else. It's the core is improv. Improv is what we value. Interpretations, different way of looking at it, right? And the same story, like if you look at the same story that, let's say, for example, Daksha's beheading of Daksha by Shiva, by Veerabhadra, same story occurs in many different Puranas, but each one is a different version. So are you going to say that, then, if you look at Western Indologists, they would say, oh, it's all, it's all interpolations, it is all corruptions, this, that. They'll say something, right? So for them, there is an original pure story, and then there are later corruptions. They don't understand that there is no original pure. Everything is pure. All of these different versions of Purusha Sukta is pure. There's no one pure and many, aberrations and corruptions. nothing like that, right? That is our culture, different ways of looking at it. And and in the Puranas they ask, if the same story was in many Puranas, it becomes redundant, right? If the Bhagavata says the same thing, the Skanda Purana says the same thing, the Vishnu Purana says the same thing, why say the same story in 20 Puranas, right? In the 18 Puranas, right? What does it do? It says, like, like when I was explaining to you on the Puranic language, I was saying, that Japanese director, right? Kurosawa, I forgot the name of that movie, where you don't really see the incident that happened, but you see the incident through the eyes of people who have seen it and how they express the story, right? You don't know what is a pure story. All you have is 5 people seeing the same story and telling you 5 different stories, right? And that is the genius of Kurosawa, the Japanese guy. I think he was in the 30s or 40s. And that is
12
exactly
Angry Men or something, right?
what is that?
Some 12 Angry Men or something like that. Is that the one?
No, maybe something
He-
where he explores.
he's an epic movie maker, and
Yes.
I think in 40s to late 60s.
Yeah.
Amazing.
He inspired a lot of people. Yeah.
Yeah, and that is the Purana method. Why are Purana stories different? Because it is being told from different viewpoints. And I've given you the master key in the previous classes of how to interpret those stories and all of those things. Who is telling this? What are they telling? All of those, and in what context are they saying, determines what the story is, right? Exactly like what Kurosawa has done. Exactly like that. There's no original story. There is these different points of view that you find in various, some that has been neglected in one Purana, that angle is brought about in another Purana. So that is why if Puranas had the same story, it would be redundant. It would be useless. Why not have just one Purana and put all the stories there? Why have 18 Puranas with all these different versions there, right? So that is what it is, right? So now let's talk about accent. This is Shruti. That means nobody composed it. They intuited this. Purusha Sukta was intuited. But again, here, when we do the Rishi Chandas and Devata Chintana, we will see what it is. But this is intuition. This is like they got it in sight. They saw this. Right? Again, this is Shruta, not seen, but heard. They heard this in their trance. And they heard it with accent. Right? It's not Sahasra Shirsha Purusha Sahasraksha Sahasrapat Sabhumi Vishwato Vritva. That is not what it is.
Sunil, I think we should use the word intonation, not accent.
Yeah, intonation, the tone change. And that's exactly what it is. It's the tone change. There's Udatta, Anudatta, Swarita. The tone changes are there. One where there's a low tone, there's a high tone, and then the middle tone. Right? The Anudatta, low, Udatta, the normal speaking tone, and then Swarita, the high. So these are the marks. That is what you see here. So Vedas, and like I said, what Vedavyasa has done for us is during his time, see Veda, all of the Vedas are different shakas, right? There's Kanva Shaka, there's like Shakalya, all of these different rishis their families were keeping that shaka, that bunch of Vedas, Veda mantras, it was distributed among different families all around India. India of that time. What Vedavyasa has done is collected that from all over India and brought that together and then divided it for Kali Yuga, for us. They have done this as a package for us. Whatever was existing and remaining at the time of Partha, that was distributed among different families, they all brought that together and then they arranged it into these 4 Vedic shakas. Right? This is all these 4 Vedic shakas. how do we know this? And how do we know what makes Shruti special? That means the way it is, the way the intonations that you see in the south, it is what you're going to see in the north. It's what you're going to see in the east. It's what's going to you're going to see in the west of India. That means these Shrutis have been preserved like a tape recorder. Not just the words. See, Puranic words, Skanda Purana, if you take the copies that they found in, say, South India, and they go to North, completely different story. I mean, some of the Puranas are like, there is no commonality between the same Purana. They'll just put the name, Skanda Purana. But what you find in one part of India is completely different from another part of India. So you don't know what is it, which one is Skanda Purana, what happened. Because there's a lot of copying errors, and all of those errors have been brought into these Puranas. But when it comes to Veda is this is probably the only literature in the whole world that has been preserved without an electronic tape recorder, as it is for generations across India. The words will not change. The intonations will not change. It's the same.
I have a question for you, Sunil, here. Sunil, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So if everything is by Shruti, right, but except Vishnu Sahasranama was given by Bhishma,
Correct.
right, and his deathbed. It is not a, why Vishnu Sahasranama is not a, do you consider Vishnu Sahasranama also Shruti?
No, it's not Shruti. But again, it's not composed by Bhishma. If you go back to the beginning verses of Vishnu Sahasranama, it says, Rishibhik Parigitani.
Yes.
Ani Vakshami. So that means if he's telling you right now, how will Rishis be chanting that? So what was there, most of the things that Bhishma gave to Yudhishthira and the Pandavas on his deathbed, but what was existing that he had in him, he's a storehouse that he gave. So Vishnu Sahasranama is not Bhishma, because he himself in the Gita, the Mahabharata itself says, right? Rishibhik Parigitani Tani Vakshami Bhutaye. It says, I'm telling you what the rishis are chanting.
Okay.
So it is not his composition.
But then what's the problem in saying it is Shruti if it is not his composition, right?
It is not Shruti. It is not Shruti. It is a Smriti.
Smriti.
It is a Smriti. It's a Smriti,
Okay.
and it is Itihasa. It is not
Okay.
Purana, it's Itihasa.
Okay.
Also, it is part of Mahabharata, no?
Yeah, that's why it's Itihasa. Yeah. Okay. So it is Shruti, and so it is preserved for thousands of years across India. Same thing. If you look at this Purusha Sukta, Rigveda Purusha Sukta, North Indian will chant the same way like the South Indian, like the West Indian, like the East Indian. If it is Rigveda, the chanting differs between Vedas. But if you pick one, the chanting is the same. Because these, the marks that they have, it's all the same. This is what, of course, written came later, but the intonations were already there, right? The intonations were already
But
there.
I find that the shakhas are making, there are differences in the way they are chanted by different shakhas.
Correct.
So it will be the same thing chanted slightly differently. By
Yeah,
different
so if
shaka.
it is Yajush Shaka, there is a lot of difference in the sense that, I forget, like Sahas here, like if you look at this line below is Anudatta, that means low tone. So instead of saying Sahasra Shirsha Purusha Sahasraksha Sahasrapat, it is what? Sahasra Shirsha Purusha Sahasraksha Sahasrapat. See that? That is the chant of it with intonation.
Sunil, if you need, I can chant the entire in Jushaka Adhyaya, Purusha Suktam. If you need,
let's go through this first.
Correct. I will give that version of it to you. Yeah.
I don't want to do the chanting because chanting is considered a diksha. So I'll just show it. but I'm not teaching it because that
Correct,
becomes a
correct.
diksha.
In intonation, if you need help with Jushakadya, I can help you.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so as you saw that, right? It's not Sahasra Shirsha. And then again, in one shaka, it's going to be Sahasra Shirsha. Shirsha. In this one, it's Sahasra Shirsha. Shirsha, Shirsha. So all of those kinds of difference comes between shakas.
Sunil,
Shaka will,
I'm so sorry. I have a question here.
yes.
I know that you said that you know you're not giving Upadesham, so that's why you will not do that. But I want to ask you a question here. For instance, you know Swami Vidyadhishananda, right?
Yes.
Swami Vidyadhishananda, even students that are not initiated, he would give Mula Mantra of Ganesha or Mula Mantra of you know Skanda without any initiation, you know, and but when it comes to you, many times you know, not in this meeting, right? Many times you said that, oh, don't go to Mula Mantra, you know, it requires a Upadesha and all those things. Why you are so particular about it? I don't
Because
see that from this.
I cannot give Upadesha. He may be able to give Upadesha. I cannot give.
No, without Upadesha, he has given out that mantra for people to chant.
No, that's what I'm saying. He can. Maybe
Okay.
his guru has given it to him and he can give. I cannot.
Okay.
See, when there is a lot of, in Tantra, there's a lot of things. Like when I do that, I take on things.
Okay.
And I don't want to take on. See, I should be very pure and following that path to be able to do the Diksha. If I do the Diksha and it is misused or, you know, whatever it is, that will come to me. And that's why I don't do those things. I can teach it, but it is not, I cannot give a Diksha because I am not fit for that. So that is why, yeah.
That's a
So,
wonderful
yeah,
answer, Sunil. Very humble of you.
No, I mean, because it's very, these are very powerful.
No, that's correct answer, Sunil. I agree with you completely.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, you can take Diksha. I am learning Veda mantras. So if you want to know intonation part, I am learning it from a guru. Line. So that means, and he can give the Diksha of that. And so I'm learning from a Diksha guru. So I cannot just do it myself, which I can do. I mean, it's not very difficult for me. And I know Purusha Sukta before I was learning. But to make it a Diksha, I have to learn the same thing from the guru to get the Diksha. So that is a different thing. You know, with Diksha comes a lot of blessings and all of those. That will not come through YouTube learning and all of those things. So that's why I keep away unless it is a Maha Mantra that it's already like Om Namah Shivaya. It does not need, because the rishis have blessed it. So I can give that mantra with the rishi and all of those things and the nyasa and the dhyana and all of those. I can give that because it has already been given to the world. These are kind of universal mantras. So that is why when it is not universal, I just keep away from it because I'm not fit for it. That's why.
Okay.
And Sunil, I think what you're saying is very right, because traditionally too, this, chanting of Bija Mantra by, commoners like us, like that was never done earlier. And this is like, I would say like in past 20 years, or basically that's when we started seeing this, especially with YouTube. People start, chanting Bija Mantra, which was never done earlier by commoners.
Yeah, I mean, it is like, I would say the problem is, see, you don't want to keep these things away, right? It's like supply and demand. At that point, there was a lot of demand. So they would keep the supply constrained, right? It's like, everybody wanted to learn, but they would look at who's fit and all this. And then now nobody wants to know. So you have to supply it a little freely, like this class. But then when it comes to those important things, you have to still follow the rules.
Yeah.
So I do, others may not.
These are extraordinary times, Bindu. That's why some of them are resorting to give it. I don't think they are also wrong, because they are also getting some instructions from above when they do it. Those who are like what Swamiji did.
Correct, Sahanaji. I agree with you. And also, when you look at Vidyadeshananda, he has not given everything. He has given most of the universally blessed Rishi mantras, but yeah, they have
No, so
blessings from their
sometimes he
gurus.
gave some others also, but with a lot of riders, and he said that he should not be doing it, but he is doing it. Like there was one he gave for health.
Correct.
Yes.
That health, yeah, for that he mentioned that because lot of people are
Vasudevaya
having,
mantra.
that one.
Correct.
Lot of
Correct.
people
Especially
are
the
having.
Bija mantra, like, especially like the Shaivik ones, not Shaivik, the Shatvik,
Shakta.
yeah. They are very powerful, and we have to be like very, very careful with those mantras.
Remember the Gita 12th chapter? What did I say about Shakta? It is not easy. So
No,
unless
Shakta
you
is not easy.
So Shakta he has not given. Shakta he
Yeah.
never gave. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, let's not go to who he all, we'll stick to this. Okay.
Yes.
But so like I said, this is not going to be any Diksha. I'm just going to show you, you can learn it from somebody, and I'm myself learning the Veda mantras. So, okay. So that is what an intonation is. So that intonation doesn't change for Rigveda mantra like this. It does not change across India. It does not change across time. So this is pretty much like a tape recorder recording. That is how it. So you wonder why they took all these, these efforts to preserve it as is. When they did not do that for Puranas, they didn't do that for Mahabharata. There are many versions available for all of the other texts. When it comes to Veda, there's only one version anywhere in India. So that's a great thing to figure out what is it that why did they there's so many chanting, right? Padapata, Ghanapata, Jatapata, all of those things. That was all the training of keeping the intonations in memory, not to miss words, and not to miss intonations. All of those things, the chanting training has so many different ways. Mantra pata, that is what I chanted now. This mantra pata, this padapata. Padapata will tell you what words, right? Sahasra, Shirsha, Purusha, Sahasra, Aksha, Sahasra, Pad. So like word by word, it dissolves everything and gives word by word. So they have preserved this over time, across time. Okay. So now let's dive into Purusha Suktam. So just like any Shruti, there is a Shanti mantra. I'll just go chant the Shanti mantra, and then we will get into Purusha Sukta. So Om Tacham. Again, see, there is intonation here because this is a Vedic mantra. The Shanti mantra is also Vedic mantra. Tacham Yora Vrani Mahe Gatum Yajnaya Gatum Yajnapataye Daivi. Remember the two lines. Daivi Swastirastunah Swastir Manushebhyah Urdvam Jigatu Beshajam Shanno Astu Dvipade Sham Chatushpade Om Shanti. There's a line below, right? Om. This is how you have to chant the Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. See, two Shantis, the ta, ti is low. Om Shanti, 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 ti. The last one has a line. That's the tone has to be more. Right? So that is how it's actually chanted, like this with intonation. Now,
Same shloka we chant actually differently, Sunil, with Nejushaka.
yeah, like in different shakas, there's different ways and different intonations. Now, like I said, Purusha Sukta, Vishnu Sahasranama, Vishwarupa, Purushottama. All of these things are connected, right? So now let's look at the first Rik. Sahasra Shirisha Purusha Sahasrakshas Sahasrapat Sabhumim Vishwato Vritvatyatishtatashangulam. That is the accent or the intonation. Srini will scold me if I say accent. So intonation, that is how it is. The Swarita, Swara comes high, the anudatta, which is the low intonation. So high intonation, low intonation, and the medium.
Is it Gulam or
What?
did you say Shah Gru or Shah Gu?
You're seeing, right? What
Yeah,
does
it
it
says
say?
Gu.
Gu.
No, I mean Gu, right? Not Gru.
No, Dashangulam.
Okay, I heard
Gulam.
Gru. Okay,
Not Guru. Angula.
got
Angula.
it.
Fingers.
Okay.
Dasha Angula. 10 fingers. We'll come to that. So what is this? The Purusha Sukta, I said, has 3 parts. First 5 riks, second 5 riks, last 6 riks. Makes 3 parts. Let's look at the first part now. First part is, this is Virat. The first part is the before creation infinite Purusha. The second Purusha is Purusha who becomes Antaryami within Brahma, the creator. And the third Purusha is the Purusha who becomes Antaryami in everyone as when the creation comes in. So we'll look at that. So first 5 is when the creation is not there. There is no creation, no Brahma. Nobody is there. Creation is going to happen next. That Virat Purusha, that the Purusha, the Vishnu, the Vishwarupa Darshana that Arjuna is seeing, that Purusha is not created yet. Right? He is in Puru Saha iti Purushaha. That means he is infinite. Puru means infinite. He is infinite. That infinite is there. And the first 5 chants are to that infinite. What does it say? Sahasra Shirsha. It's very simple. I mean, this Sanskrit is very simple. Sahasra Shirsha. What is 1000 heads? Sahasra Aksha. 1000 eyes. Sahasra Path. 1000 feet. Now, if it is a Purusha form, 1000 heads should have what? How many eyes? 2000 eyes. 2000 legs. But here it's like one-eyed, one-legged person, right? So that's not what it is. Sahasra, see, in Vedanta, in Vedic literature, Dasha, Shata, Sahasra, Sarvam, Anantam. Dasheti, in the Aitareya Ananika, it says, Dasheti Vai Sarva. 10 means everything, it says, because that's all you need to represent everything. Decimal system, right? You need 10 to represent everything. So in the Aitareya Ananika, it says, Dasheti Vai Sarvam. Dasha means everything. Why? Because you don't need anything else other than 10 to represent infinity. So 10 is infinity. Shatam Anantam, 100 is infinity. Sahasram Anantam, 1000 is infinity. It is just like saying tens, hundreds, thousands. Infinite. Infinite can be represented as innumerable tens, innumerable hundreds, innumerable thousands. Right? So that's why Sahasram, Sahasra here is not 1000. Sahasra is thousands as in infinity.
So anything based on is infinity, right?
It's
10
infinity.
to the power of 1, 10 to the power of 2, 10 to the like.
Yeah. It's all, even many places in Upanishads, they use Dasha to mean Ananta.
Ananta.
10 means everything. Because
so even our Dashavatara is like infinite avatara.
Basically, that is what it is. It is infinite avatara only.
Yeah.
Right? So Dasha is actually Ananta. Same way, Sahasra is also Ananta. It means, in English, you can say thousands of heads, thousands of eyes, thousands of legs. And I think if in the Yajush Shaka, it is Sahasra Bahu. It says Bahu, right? So here it says Sahasra Shirsha. There Sahasra Bahu in some version. I don't know if it's in Krishna Yajurveda or Shukla Yajurveda, where in that instead of Sahasra Shirsha, it's Sahasra Bahu Purusha.
I heard that. Yeah.
Right. So that is also there. So that's a different. It's not a corruption of this. It is a different Veda Shakha, Rig Veda, that they are chanting. So if you hear something different from this, it means it is not Rig Shaka. It is a different Shaka that they are chanting. So now, why head, eyes, and legs? Why head, eyes, and legs?
Because it's about awareness of the entire universe in action, able to act in multiple ways. The way the words are explained in Paramatma definition, he is aware of everything. He can act everywhere. He can make things happen everywhere. Like, you know.
Correct. That is also there. That is also correct.
But again, Sahasra Sirsha means infinite intelligence, right?
That is also there. So we'll come to this. See,
Yeah.
Jiva or Chetana has three Moola Shaktis. What are the three Moola Shaktis of Chetana? Ichha Shakti,
Kriya Shakti,
Kriya
Jnana
Shakti, and Jnana Shakti.
Jnana Shakti.
Yeah.
Right? So three Shaktis are there. Here, Shirsha is nothing but Ichha Shakti, infinite Ichha. Akshi, seeing is nothing but knowledge. Infinite knowledge, omniscience. Path is karma.
Yeah, Kriya Shakti.
So,
Mobility.
Mobility, right? So
Yeah.
Kriya Shakti, Jnana Shakti, Ichha Shakti. So omniscience, omnipotence, all of those things are this. That is why it is showing this. In one version, it will say Sahasra Bahu for activity. In other one, it will say Sahasra Shirsha. Right? So what they are saying is, think of what Arjuna is seeing, the Vishwarupa Darshana. This is what it is. This Purusha Sukta is expressing. It says thousands of heads. So thousands, he is inside everybody, giving us thousands of Ichha or infinite Ichha. Thousands of eyes, omniscience. He sees everything. There is nothing hidden from him. And he is the one who gives knowledge to each one of us. Sahasra Aksha, Sahasra Path, thousands of feet, thousands of movement, infinite movement. He gives us the whole of the universe, Kriya Shakti. Each of the bhutas in the universe, Kriya Shakti. So he's...
But Sunil, as a child, I learned that, Krishna showed him the entire cosmos. That's where he was startled and he was trembled, because he never seen that cosmos in front of him playing out, right? He was like expanding, like whatever the Big Bang Theory, right? It was like enormous. He closed his eyes, he couldn't take it.
Correct.
So the more than the heads, right? This is kind of a compacted version showing that it's a kind of gives, but what he has given is the entire cosmos in front of him that he couldn't bear. He couldn't take it, because in their world, it was like before Galileo, right? This is all they know of Earth. This is all they know of people. This is what they thought of creation, but creation is beyond us. Is what has been manifested to Arjuna in the battlefield. That's where he got startled and frightened and everything. A lot of emotions came out of the human emotions.
Yeah, we finished the Vishwarupa Darshana 11th chapter. So yeah, we have seen how Arjuna trembles and falls on his feet, saying, I cannot bear this, right? Yeah. And so yeah, we have gone through that. It's amazing. And so think of Purusha Sukta as an expression of that Purusha who is there before creation. This is creation. See, Purusha Sukta is a creation hymn. It's a creation hymn. So before creation is the first 5 riks are before creation. The next 5 is during this. It's the start of creation, and the last 5 is when the whole thing evolves into societies and civilizations. So all of those things, all the 3 comes in Purusha Sukta, right?
And the Nasadiya Sukta also it's not a part of this, right?
Which one?
Is it called Nasadiya Sukta?
Nasadiya Sukta.
Nasadiya, okay.
Nasadiya Sukta is actually, in the Laya. That means in,
Okay, got it.
Yeah, before the creation, when everything was destroyed, that is Nasadasim, no Sadasim, Tadanim. It's like nothing is there. There's neither the cause nor the effect. Everything is gone to its inert, dormant form. There's only one, Anida Vatam in the Nasadiya. That means he who was breathing without the breath. Because the Upanishad says Pranasya Pranaha. He is the prana of prana. Why does he need prana? Right? So beautiful. Nasadiya Sukta is amazing. But it is where nothing is there. Only Paramatma is there. in the pralaya water, like they say, pralaya water is not water, but that means everything has gone to its dormant form. That is the Nasadiya. So let's come back to this.
So Nasadiya comes way after Purusha, right, in the Rig Veda?
Nasadiya is in Rig Veda, but I don't know if it's, I think it's in 10th mandala, but I don't know what sukta it is. But it doesn't matter. It's not ordered that way.
Oh.
Yeah, things are not ordered that way. It's a collection. It's not ordered this way. Okay, and I forgot to actually do the Rishi Chandas, and I just remembered that. So before we just started, but before the start, you have to always do the nyasa of Rishi, Chanda, and Devata. So we'll look at, see, it's again, see, these are all people have come up with the Anukramani, the list where they put Rishis and all of those things. If you look at the Rig Veda, where it says the Rishi for this is Narayana. So it's not a Rishi Narayana. Narayana is Paramatma himself, Narayana. So he is himself the Rishi for this. And then the Devata is Purusha, Purushottama. The Chandas, the first 15 is Anushtup Chandas. The last one is Trishtup. Anushtup is 8 times 4, 32. Like you can see, Sahasra, Shirsha, Purusha, 8. So 8, 8, 8, 8, 8. Sometimes it is one less, one more. So there's different. So all of those are there. And the last one, Yajnena, Yajnamayajanta, Deva, that is 11 times 4. So that's 44 aksharas. So there are 2 chandas here. Anushtup chandas, first 15, Trishtup in the last one. Okay, let's come back to this. So Sahasra Shirsha Purushaha, omnipotence, omniscience, Sahasraksha, Sahasrapath. Right? Sabhumim Vishwata Vritva Ati Atishtat Dasha Angulam. Bhumi, what is the Bhumi? Bhumi is not earth. Bhumi here is Bhudevi or Lakshmi, Prakriti. Sabhumim Vishwataha Vritva. That means he is covered Prakriti from all sides. Vishwata Vritva, covering all sides. Ati Atishtat Dashangulam. The whole universe, not the Prakriti and Prakriti's evolutes, which is the whole universe. He covers everything. There is no place where he is not. Right? Sabhumim Vishwata Vritva. Then what it says? Beautiful. Ati Atishtat Dasha Angulam, it says. He stands apart with 10 fingers. Again, if you go back to Dasheti Vai Sarvam, he is infinitely unreachable. He is here, but he is unreachable. Beautiful, this one. And remember, this is in the 9th chapter. Krishna says, I am everywhere, but I am untouched by my creation. This is the untouched. Paramatma is omnipresent, is everywhere, but is infinitely unreachable. That is the Dasha Angulam. Ati Atishtat Dasha Angulam means Angula is just 10 fingers. Beyond 10 fingers, it says. 10 here is infinite. Dasheti Vai Sarvam. That means he is beyond anybody's reach while being within everything, everywhere. He's beyond everything's reach. He's untouched by creation. Paramatma is always, like Krishna says in the 9th chapter, untouched by creation. And in the Gita, he says, right, just like when the Vayu does not touch Akasha, the properties of the Vayu does not go to Akasha, the same way I am untouched by creation, right? He says in the 9th chapter. Exactly, that is what the Shangulam is. This is in the Mahadrupa. This is the infinite form, right? Remember, we are talking about 2 forms here. Purnamada, Purnamidam. Purnat, Purnamudachyate. Purnasya, Purnamadaya, Purnameva, Avashishyate. Purnamada, that is Purna. What is that? That means that which is beyond us. Mahatrupa. Purnamidam. Idam it's saying. Idam means here. This. That is infinite. This is, what is this? That is the form of Paramatma who is within us, in our hearts. He is within our hearts. He is atomic, but still is Purna. He is Purna. Purnat Purnamudachyate. From infinite comes infinite. Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. When the infinite, when the Antaryami Rupa merges with the Math Rupa, only infinite remain. It's like in math, it's like the infinite. Infinite plus infinite is infinity. Infinity minus infinity is infinity.
Yeah.
Right. So that, and the same thing. Mahadrupa, Anurupa, all are Purna. Everything is Purna. Right. So Ati Atishtat Dashangulam means that is the Mahadrupa, that is infinite, Purna. Then let us look at another meaning for this. Ati Atishtat Dashangulam. See, if you look at in our body.
So, Sunil, Mamit, this the bolded one is from the Rig Veda, and the following lines are from the commentary.
Where is the bolded? You mean this one?
Huh.
No, it's all. This is all Purusha Sukta.
All Purusha Sukta. Okay.
Yeah. Right. Everything has accents. Right. It's not commentary. It's the Veda. So that is in the Mahadrupa, we can say Paramatma is omniscient or omnipresent, is everywhere. But then it says Ati Atishtat Tashangalam. He's everywhere, but he's infinitely unreachable. And then in the Anurupa, in the Antaryami Rupa, that is like, Adhyatma, in the Adhyatma domain. See, Bhumi is what in our body, Bhumi is where the navel chakra is the Bhu chakra, in the Bhumi. Right? That's how we are connected to creation through our navel, right? That's how we are born, with that connection. So that is the navel. The navel is our ground.
What happened?
Maybe we lost Sunil.
Internet issue.
So in the Adhyatma domain, Ati Atishtat Dashangulam means what? He is everywhere and he sits 10 fingers above the navel. Bhu is navel here in the Adhyatma, which is he sits. Even though he's everywhere, omnipotent, omniscient, everything, omnipresent, but then he sits within each one of us in our hearts, which is 10 fingers above our navel. That is Adhyatma meaning, is that. Ati Atishtat Dasha Angulam means he who sits in our heart, which is 10 fingers away from the navel, that is Paramatma's Anurupa. And he who is everywhere, but still infinitely Ati Atishtat, unreachable, Paramatma, that is the Mahatrupa. Both of them are taken here. Good?
Super.
I'm measuring 10 fingers.
Yeah. So from Manipura, 10 fingers is going to be the heart chakra.
I think you told us in one other class also. I forgot the class.
Yeah. And then 10 from there will become your Vishuddhi. Right? Anahata to 10 would be Vishuddhi. Vishuddhi to 10 would be the Agnya. Agnya to 12 is Sahasrara. So that measurement we'll look at the other one.
That's
so
the
it is
width of the finger, right? The width of the finger.
Yeah, width, Angula. Yeah, width of the fingers.
Sahasrara is actually above our level,
No, it is here, but sitting up a little above the head.
Correct.
6 inches above, like about 6 inches.
Sunil, which finger do we use to measure? Which
Your
finger? No,
finger.
but which finger? Like out of this, like which out of the 5?
Like that. Your fingers. See, how do you measure angula? Like, if you look at Indian measurement, it's like 5 angulas means you have five hands.
Okay.
Right? Or
So
five angulas, 1 hand, but like that. That's how we measure, right? Like this.
Okay.
Like, yeah.
Because I was looking at the finger,
No.
Okay.
5 angulas means 10 fingers above the Manipura is Anahata. 10 fingers from Anahata is Vishuddhi. 10 fingers from that is the Agnya. 12 fingers from that is Sahasrara. Why 12? We'll see. Sometime, not now, not in this. But we'll go back here, right? So both Mahadrupa and Anurupa are both described here. He is everywhere. But look at his Mahima, which is like in the other rek it says, what is his Mahima? He is everywhere. He is within me. He's, he's here. But he's infinitely unreachable. Ati atishta dashate vai sarvam. He's ananta, beyond. But he's here. That means it's beyond logic. I mean, this is not a logical sense, right? And then that infinite is also in the atomic space of the heart. How can infinity be in an atomic space? No logic. Logic is for us. This is beyond logic. We don't know this, right? So that's why it's achintya adbhuta shakti, they say. That means it is that which beats the logic. Logic is for us.
Even if you look at science also, right, atom is not bounded.
What is that? Atom is not?
Atom is not bounded. So you cannot, it's in a way infinite. Even if you look at from science standpoint of view.
So that is the first one, right? First one, it says he is omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient, but infinitely unreachable, and also in the atomic space within our own selves, closest to us. In the Chandogya Upanishad, Shvetaketu, and the Uddalaka, the dialogue that we were looking at, right? In one of them, he says, when you are in deep sleep, Jiva is with Paramatma. But when you come out, you don't have the experience that, I met Paramatma, that I was resolved into Paramatma. We have no experience of that. So, he explains why that is and all those things. So he is within us. He's the closest to us, but is infinitely unreachable. He's beyond, right? So that the beauty of that is being explained here, right?
I think electron is not bounded. Atom still has.
No, science and Veda is too different. Let's not get into all those things.
Correct.
Right? Look at what this is telling us. Leave science. We are looking at beyond logic, beyond what we experience, beyond tarka. That is what this is just, you have to just look and feel it. That's it. No, don't think too much. Right? Now, next one, the second rek. So, second rek, let's look at the intonation first, right? Purusha, it should be Purusha evedam sarvam yat bhutam yat bhavyam. So bhavyam, it's not bhavyam, because that swarita is there. Utamritatvasyeşanah yadannena thirohati. So there is a u is anudatta. Uta amritatvasya ishanah yat annena ati rohati. So who is this Purusha? It goes on. Think of this. This is before creation. He's getting ready for creation. It's a description of Paramatma who is getting ready for creation. Again, there is no time concept there. There's no before and after. But still, for Paramatma, everything is present. He has no past and future. Past and future is for us. We are bounded by time. He is not bounded by time. That is exactly what this is saying. Purusha evedam sarvam. All of this creation is being pervaded by Purusha. In everything there is Purusha. In everything that was created, that is being created. Yat bhutam, that is in the past, which is for us the past. Yat bhutam, yatcha bhavyam, of course the present, and then the bhavyam, the future. So for him, everything is the same. There's no past. He's the same in the past and the future, which means what? He's not bounded by time. Those who are bounded by time, past and future are different. Those who are unbound by time, past and the same, and the present and the future are the same. For Paramatma, it's always the present. All our future is always his present. There is no past, present, future for Paramatma. He is himself Kala in that sense. So we are bounded by time. Again, bounded by three, right? We are bounded by three. What are the three? Past, present, future. We are the ones who are bounded by three gunas, the three. He is not bound by three. So, Purusha evedam sarvam, this Purusha, who is infinite, who is infinitely unreachable, who is in the atomic space of our heart, closer than ourselves to us than everything else. He is the one who is he is in everywhere. He's in everything. Not just now, in the past, beginningless past, and then endless future. Yat bhutam, yat cha bhavyam. Whatever was in the past, he was always their antaryamis in the past. He is always their antaryamis in the future. He is always controlling, and he is always beyond time. Right? Purusha evedam sarvam. Purusha eva. He is only. See, in idam sarvam, in the Sanskrita, the one who has mastery, control, he is the one who is called this. Like idam, you are this, right? For example, I can say Bill Gates is Microsoft. That means he is the one who matters. Now I should not talk about Bill Gates anymore. Give me one other example. Some
Thank
guy.
you, Sunil. Thank
Jeff
you.
Bezos.
Huh? What was that?
Jeff Bezos.
Jeff Bezos is, he's no longer CEO, but like when he was CEO, Jeff Bezos is Amazon. Amazon is Jeff Bezos. Means what? He is the one that matters. He is the one who controls that matters. So that is eva idam. The way, in the sutra, in the Brahma Sutra says, you can say he is that, which means he is fully in control of that. Therefore, he can say he is that. Right? That sutra explains this. Purusha evedam sarvam means that, like in the Bhagavad Gita, when describing yajna, it says, brahmarpanam, brahma havihi, brahmagno brahmana hutam, brahmaiva tena gantavyam, brahmaiva tena gantavyam, brahma karma samadhina. So it says, in the agni of the yajna, Krishna is there, Paramatma is there. In the one who is pouring the havis, Paramatma is there. In the one who is chanting, Paramatma is there. In the one who is being offered, that is to Paramatma. So ultimately in that verse it says, finally it is a one-person show. Everything else is instrument and toy, like what Krishna says in the Vishwarupa Darshana. Right? What does he say? Nimitta matram bhava savyasachin, right? Everything else is nimitta. Everything else is toy. We are not doing it. Things are getting done through us. Things flow through us, not by us or from us. Right? So, Purusha evedam sarvam means that is what it is. That means he is in everything and he is the mukhya artha, the mukhya controller, the master. Everything he is, not just of now, but of beginningless past and endless future. He is always in control. He was always in control. He is always in control. He is always the master. He is the one-man show, the one-person show. That is what this Purusha is. Right? Purusha evedam sarvam yad bhutam yaccha bhavyam uta amrutatvasya ishanaha. What is Ishana here? Ishana means Lord, the master. The word I was saying, the master, it's being used here. Ishanaha is the Ishana of everything. What is Amrutatvasya Ishanaha? It is contrasting. Go to the Purusha Sukta, the Purushottama Yoga. Krishna says, Kshara Purusha. Right? And there is Akshara Purusha. Two kinds of beings are there. Kshara Purusha is like Sarvani Bhutani. Kutasto Akshara Uchyate. So that means that which moves, transforms, Annena atirohati, that means that which sustains on food, that is dependent on food, on can be anything. That is all of creation. All of creation has kshut and pipasa, hunger and thirst. Even the devatas have that. Yajna is their food. For us, food is food. For the devatas also have food. Asuras also have food. Everything, every created thing has food. Different kinds of food. Right? So in Kali, they say, in Kali it is annagata prana. So our prana is sustained by food. Our prana is sustained by food, actual food. Without food, that's it. Prana is gone. For the devatas, yajna is the havis is the prana. They are sustained by havis. Okay. So whole of creation is what? Anna. So then if the whole of creation is Anna, then who is Amrita?
The Virat Purusha.
No, he's Ishana, he says. He's the Lord of Amritas. These are the ones who are mukta. They have left the samsara. They have broken the cycle of samsara and have gone beyond. They have no thirst. They have no hunger. There is only ananda. Their bhoga is what? Their swarupa ananda is itself their bhoga. They are the amritas. So uta amritatvasya ishanaha, not just beginningless, endless. He is also the Lord of the immortals, the mukta jivas, and the mortals, the one who live by anna, who need food to sustain. Uta amritatvasya ishanaha yad annena atirohati. He is way beyond he's the master of the amritas, the immortals, and he is also way beyond the mortal samsara. That means devata, manushya, asura, all of the yonis that are there in the creation, beyond all of them, and also the Lord of immortals, right? So it says he is the Lord of the mortals, beyond mortals, and the Lord of the mortals, and also is beyond immortals and the Lord of immortals. That is exactly what in the Purushottama Yoga, Krishna says, why I am Purusha Uttama? Because there is Kshara Purusha, which is Anna. That means that which are dependent on food, whole of creation. And then Akshara Purusha, that's of course that's Prakriti. And then there is the immortals, the Amrutas. Therefore, I am greater than both of them, and therefore I am Purushottama. Lokecha Vedecha Purushottamaha, he says, Krishna says that. So I am famous as Purusha because I am beyond the Kshara and the Akshara. Akshara-dapi Uttamaha. Therefore, I am the Lokecha Vedecha Purushottama. So I am the Purushottama. Right? Is this understood?
Yep.
Purusha evedham sarvam yad bhutam yad chabhavyam. So that one. So that beautiful intonation, that means he is beginningless. There is no time, there is no past, no present for him. He is the Lord throughout. He is in everything, within everything, master of everything. He's a master of the immortals, the master of the mortals, and he is the Purusha of the Purushottama Yoga. Okay. Any questions?
No, sir. Still receiving.
Yeah, this is Purusha. I know you chant Purusha Sukta, so this is beautiful.
As a YouTube, but I'm fixing how are you saying? I'm
Yeah.
small things.
Okay. So then the third rik. The third rik, it says, Etavanasya mahima ataha jayamscha purushaha pado asya vishwa bhutani tripadasyaamritam devi. So still talking about that infinite Purusha. So it says, where is that?
Etavanasya.
Yeah. Etavanasya mahimatho jayam cha Purusha. That is that one. Padosya vishva bhutani. See, this bhutani is what? Bhutani, bhutani, tripadasya divi, divi, tripadasya divi. So it has to follow that marks. It says padaha asya vishva bhutani. Pada means what? See, pada basically means 1/4 is called pada. 1/4.
The-
And now generally it is also used as fraction. A fraction of something is a pada.
It's like even nakshatra they use pata, right? Sunil? Pata. That's it.
Pada, no, not pada. Pada, pada.
That's the same concept. The nakshatra also same mean like
Pada means what? 4. 1/4 is pada. 4 padas, something divided into 4 quarters. 1 quarter is pada.
okay.
Right? So nakshatra is divided into 4
But
padas.
pada is used for feet also, correct? Feet.
Pada is also used for feet. That's the feet. But it's talking 4 feet. This is animal feet, not human feet.
Okay, okay. Now I can understand.
Chatushpat, right? This Chatushpat, it has 4 padas. Right? Like think of the Rishabha, in the bull, the Dharma bull, standing on 4 feet. 1 feet is 1 pada, which is 1/4.
Super.
Right? But also 1/4 is the very precise meaning, but pada also means one fraction. But then when we are saying taking the blessings of somebody very very older and wiser, what do you call them? When you're talking about, say, the acharyas, what do you call them?
Sripada.
We say Shankara Bhagavat Padacharya,
Yeah.
Ramanuja Bhagavat Padacharya. Why Bhagavat Pada? Why you are saying Shankara's feet, Ramanuja's feet, Madhva's feet, his feet, their feet? Why you are not talking to their feet? Why feet then?
You begin from the feet.
That means the rule is, the honor is those who are way beyond us in capacity. You address the feet. Pada means them. If it Shankara Bhagavat Pada means not Shankara's feet, that means Shankara. But to address somebody who is way beyond us, you have to say Shankara's feet.
Because we are at the level of their feet.
Like
mean, we
maybe
are
like
at that level.
Pada, like the Pada Renu, right? It's like the dust particles on their feet. Right? That's what we are.
But here, Padosya Bhutani means, Visva Bhutani means, it is not talking about feet, right?
It's not talking about feet.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So Pada means feet. Pada also means Swarupa, form. Pada also means form. That means whenever we are addressing that which is way beyond us,
Yeah.
we don't address them as you. We address them as your feet.
Yeah.
You can see that everywhere in the Vedas.
Yeah, this is a very basic concept you have
Very
given us.
basic concept that we don't understand. But when somebody talks to somebody who's very greater than them, they don't say, I want to ask you a question. They'll say, in English, it will be very funny. I want to ask a question to your feet. That is what it translates to. It will be like, if you translate it, it's very.
No, I think a Hindu
do
will
they want to
understand it very easily and intrinsically. For a Hindu.
Yeah. Then, what that tells you is they're addressing it to somebody that is way beyond in knowledge and depth than themselves. That's why they're saying, I want to address this question to your feet. Right? So feet means you. But it's just your form, one form of you, your form, because you are so beyond. I'm addressing one form of you as a feet. right? So Vishwa Bhutani, that means all the creation. Again, in this verse, the creation is not started. So the sukta is talking about the previous beginningless creations that have happened. Padaha, Vishwa Bhutani. His form, one form, is everybody as their antaryami. Vishwa Bhutani Padaha. One pada, one form of his is antaryami in all of the created beings. Like that's the same one that he says, yad annena atirohati tadeva padaha. That form that is way beyond all the mortals, but it's in samsara and beyond all the mortals. That is one form of this infinite formed heads, all of those omniscience and everything. Vishwakarma, Vishwarupa, Vishwanama, everything is infinite, infinite names, infinite forms. You think of any form, it says his form. One of that is our antaryami. In whole of creation, just one form is taken to just become the antaryami of all of the created beings. So it's just padoha asya, asya means asya purushasya. This Purusha's pada, one form, Vishwa Bhutani. It is the antaryami of all of the creation, beginningless creation. Just one antaryami in the hearts of all. Tripadasya amrutam divi. Three of his other forms, it says, which is, three rupas. If you take, if you look at the four mula rupas, I have not done that concept, but one is in creation, three is beyond. It means three is infinity. It's beyond all other forms. It's not even in the world of people. It is in the world of immortals. The people who have, they've got the moksha, they are seeing them. We will not see them. What we will see is our antaryami form only. That's it. What they see is the form that is never available to samsara. Tripada asya amrutam divi. The other three aspects of him are beyond creation, that nobody in creation has access to that. See, Mukta Prapancha has no connection with samsara, right?
Right.
Like if you, let's say, Moksha, I want to ask a question. Let me talk to Mukta. Let me talk to a Mukta and get my doubts clear. Can you do that?
No.
You cannot do that because there's no connection. In the Veda, in the Brahma Sutra, it says anavrittiha shabdad, anavrittiha ashabdad. No coming back, no connection. No connection between amuktas and muktas. No connection. So amukta cannot come into the samsara and teach you, oh, you know what, I did this, I went there, this is how it is like that. No. Nobody can give their experience. All you can read about is through shrutis. That's it. Nobody else will come and explain to you. Right? There's no connection. So the forms of the Paramatma that is beyond, Divi here is not that which is beyond us. Beyond, it's not Divi as in not in Swargaloka. Divi means that which is beyond us. That which is beyond us, three forms. He says, three forms is beyond us. Only the muktas have access to it. One is the one that is only in the creation, among the mortals. Again, what it is talking about is Purusha evedam sarvam yadbhutam yaccha bahuvyam uta amrutatvasya ishanaha. That amrutatvasya ishanaha yat annena atirohati, right? Amruta and Anna. He's talking about Amruta and Anna, the immortals and the one who are in samsara sustained on food. Yetavanasya mahina amrutatvasya. Where is it? Oh, did we do that? Yetavanasya mahima ato jayamsti purusha. We did that, right? Yeah. Padavasya Vishwabhutani. So Vishwabhutani is that Anna. Those who are sustained in food is that Vishwabhutani. Those who are in creation. Tripadasya Amrutam Divi. Those who are beyond the immortals, the Amrutas, his other forms are accessible to the Amrutas. Creation, samsara, that means even the Devatas, don't have access to Paramatma, who is beyond even all the devatas who are in samsara. There's something in samsara. There's so many things beyond samsara that nobody knows.
You didn't do the
Cyril, let
previous.
me ask you a question.
Sunil, you didn't do the previous one.
I didn't do that. Yeah, that's what I realized. Yeah, go on, Srini.
So the amukta, or whatever this creation that has hunger and thirst, came in the one part of his him, and him are the Vishwarupa, and the three parts are atita, right? Cannot be accessible, right? So that means he has the both guna and nirguna, because one part of his.
No. See, ati atishtat dasha angulam. He's beyond all of those. There's no question of guna and nirguna. He is both nirguna and guna. Because when you say he's nirguna, it means he doesn't have sattva, rajas, tamo guna.
Right.
When you say he has guna, that means he's purna, right? He's purna guna, but he's not with sattva, rajas, tama.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. So the uta amritatvasya ishana yadannena atiro ati, right? He's also the Lord of the immortals and way beyond the mortals. Then it says etabanasya mahima. This is all of this which we have told now. Asya mahima. This is his greatness. Ataha jayamscha purushaha. Beautiful. He says that means this goes back to what in the Brahma Sutra. It says, athato brahma jignasa janmadhyasya itaha ikshater na shabdam. That sutra is there. Ikshater na shabdam. That means yatra vacho nivartante aprapya manasa saha. The Shrutis say, which means Paramatma is indescribable through words. Words cannot capture him. Like we have discussed this in many classes where. See, the basis of communication is shared experience, right? If I know something and you know something, we can communicate. If I know something that you have no access to, you can try to compare something that they know to what this is. They will never exactly know what this is, which is what Veda is trying to do. Veda is trying to tell us about that which words cannot express. Through the experience of what words can express. I mean, is an amazing task. But they also say, that's why all of in the Vedanta, especially in the Upanishads and all that, it is Paramatma is expressed in contradictory terms. Like, for example, what Srini asked, right? His guna, his nirguna is guna. He's gunavan and he's nirguna. Right? So he's both. So what is it? That means he can only be expressed in contradictions, and that is and why that comes in because it is not a shared experience. That means if I find a fruit somewhere in the other part of the world, and I want to tell this to Karthik, what is this fruit, how this fruit is like, can I express it? Can he know through words? No. But I can say, Karthik, you know that apple that we eat, where it's like apple, it's that apple. Oh, then it says, oh, really? Is that an apple? You say, no, it's not apple. It is like apple, but it is not apple. So that see the contradictions, right? You can express Paramatma in contradictions only. You cannot say this. So you have to say, when you say this, it is only like this, and you should also say not this. That's how communication is possible, because the whole basis of communication is shared experience. When and by Shruti, by definition, is talking about that which is beyond experience. So then, the first question that the Brahma Sutra asks is, how do we know that which is beyond experience? Because it cannot be communicated, and you cannot experience it yourself without being communicated that, right? So then, when you experience, you'll know what that fruit tastes like. Until then, you will have some some idea of what it might be, which is what the idea of God we have. This is what it might be. When we experience Paramatma, then we will know, oh, idam, again, we will know the drop in the ocean. Paramatma is not fully knowable, right? I mean, if you look at the Kena Upanishad, what does Brahma say in Kena Upanishad? Those who don't know. Those who think they know actually don't know. That is the contradiction of knowing, right? Those who think they know, sorry, you don't know them. And those who know, do they know? They know they don't know. Brahma is saying this. Hiranyagarbha Brahma is saying, I know because I don't know, he says. I know pada. Pada means one fraction. That is all I know. The drop in the ocean is what we can know. And that has to be experienced to know. And until the drop in the ocean is experienced, you'll have to compare that drop to everything else that we can experience. So right now, in samsara, all we can know is the idea through words, comparing to our experience around. When we experience, if and when we experience it, then we will know the drop. Right? So, etavanasya mahima, it says, the Veda itself is saying, all of this is the mahima, the greatness of the Purusha. What we have expressed is his greatness. Ato jayamscha Purusha. He is greater than that. Because what words can express is what? A drop. He's an ocean, he says. Jayams, jayasi means what? Jayan means greater. He's beyond all of these words. But what we can do, we can only express it in limited terms. So it is saying, it does not exhaust Paramatma. It is just a droplet of what we have said. What we have said is the droplet of what he is. Right? Etavanasya mahima ato jayamscha Purusha. This Purusha is Jaya, is more than what has been described in the last two verses. That is nothing. But just give you an idea. We'll just give you an idea of what that Purusha is. Don't misunderstand that you already know everything about Purusha, because what we told is just a speck. There is an ocean, infinite ocean beyond. Jayamscha Purusha means is an infinite ocean that is way beyond. Right? Good? Good?
Very good.
Yeah.
Yes. Very good.
Okay. So then we came to this one. Padasya Vishva Bhutani. So one form of his is in all of creation as their Antaryami. Tripad. His other forms are only accessed by those who have gone beyond samsara. Tripadasya Amritam Divi. Tripad Urdhva Udait Purushaha. Pado Asya Iha Abhavat Punaha. What does it say? His form is just coming out, right? It's you cannot say one form. It's just many forms are coming. Tripad Urdhva Udait. There's more than these forms. Infinite forms like the Vishwarupa. Padaha Asya Abhavat Punaha. Another form comes into being later. Like for example, that Vishwarupa is already there. Krishna came. Punah Abhavat. He comes again and again and again. Creation, within creation, he comes again and again and again. So infinite forms are there. Other forms also come punah again and again and again within the creation. Good? Got it? Padaha asya vishva bhutani tripadasya amrutam divi tripat urdha udait purushaha padaha asya iha bhavat punaha. Iha, it says iha. So his form will again come here, again and again. Punaha means punah punaha, punah punaha, punah punaha. His pada, his forms come here within creation. Iha is always within creation in the samsara. Again and again and again and again and again. But again, they're always infinite. See, Narsimha was not formed when Hiranyakashipu was trying to, destroy that pillar. Narsimha is an infinite form. Narsimha was always there. He's the Samharaka, right? He's the Samharaka form. He's the one that destroys the universe. It's always there. But in that kind of form, he comes again. That kind of, so punah, he comes in those kinds of forms again and again and again in this world. Krishna is also not new form. Krishna is always existing, beginningless, endless form. But same form, he comes again and again and again in creation.
Even that same thing Shankar Bhagavad says in Vishnu Shakpadi, right?
Yeah.
Machadi Biravata Rai Ravata Ravata Sada Vasudha. So he always there, he always lived here. He's always present here.
Always present, yes.
Yeah.
These forms are not, they came and they went and that's it. No, there's nothing like that.
Yeah.
These are Ananta Rupa. He is Ananta Rupa. That means Nrsimha Rupa is Ananta, beginningless, endless. Krishna Rupa is Ananta, beginningless, endless. Rama Rupa is Ananta. So every Rupa is Ananta.
Yeah.
Right? And also the Kathopanishad says, Rupam Rupam Pratirupa Babhuva. That is the beauty of this. What that means any form that you can see around, is it an original? No. It is a reflection of him. Pratirupa means reflection. That means in the form that you are looking at me, Paramatma's form is like me. I am just a poor reflection of that form. Paramatma's form is like Srini. He is a reflection of that form. He's like Karthik, it's like Sana, it's like Bindu, it's like all of the people.
Yeah, Bahurupa.
We are the copies. We are the reflections. He is the original. Kathopanishad, beautifully it says, all of the forms are his Pratirupa, his reflections. So that means Vishwarupa means he is in every form. He is in every form, not just of beings, of animals, of things. Every form that you can think in your mind, Paramatma is, because that's why we call it Vishwarupa means what? Every form. Vishwarupa means every form. His Vishwarupa means every form is his form. Every name is his name. Every sound is his sound. So all of these, what we have here is a copy. Right? That's how creation is. So if you look at the Puranas, what we have here is a poor man's version of the original. And even in like, for example, the Puranas talk about this, where, like, there is it's in all languages, there's this saying, right? When you go to a very comfortable place where there's a swimming pool, there's a great thing, and that you can see a huge lake and all of the visuals, you say, I'm in heaven. This is like heaven. Right? And it is across, it's in our native languages, it's in Sanskrit, it's in English, it's in every language. This is like heaven. So in the Puranas, it say, imagine the best of the places that you can go here. That is a poor man's reflection of what heaven is, what Swarga is. That is a poor man's reflection of what Vaikuntha is in the Puranas, it says. So what we have here is a watered down version of what there is in whichever realm, whatever we can think of. What we have here is reflections. What we have there is originals. That's what the Puranas say. Very nicely describes that. So, Tripad Urdu Udait Purusha, Pado Asya Iha Abhavat Punaha. Okay. So, let's see. Tato Vishwam Vyakramat Sashana Nashane Abhi Tasmat Virala Jayata Virajo Adhipurushaha. So we have finished, what is this one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? We have come at the cusp of creation happening. So from the 1 to 5, it is Purusha who is going to create. And it's saying just like in the previous creations, the next creation will also have one of the form that is going to be Antaryami. He's going to be everywhere. He's going to be beyond everything. He's going to create exactly like what he has created before. See, 2 creations are not 2 different creations. 2 creations are very similar creations. Right? See, in the Rig Veda, there's I forget that mantra, in the 10th mandala, it says, every creation is Very similar. It's the same cycle. It's the same positions. It's the same people. Happens again and again and again. And that's the reason why it's cycle. So it's not like one creation he created like this, but the other one is created, let me try something novel, new. No, everything is the same. Every creation is going to be the same. So that's what it's describing here. When it's describing samsara, it's because the creation has not happened. It is describing the samsaras of creations gone by in the past. What he was in all of those. That is again what is going to be in the one that is coming now. That is what it's describing. Okay. So, tato vishwam vyakramata sa ashana anashane abhi. Tato vishwam vyakramata. Again, vyakramata means what? He filled up everything. He filled up everything from within, from without, from everywhere. He's filled up the whole of the creation. Sa ashana anashana abhi. And then exactly what we are talking about. Sa ashana, those who have hunger and thirst, those who need to eat. Samsaris, anashana, those who don't need to eat. Muktas. Both of them, he's filled both of them. He's within both of them. And he is there. Abhi, what does abhi mean in Sanskrita? Abhi is a prefix. Abhigamana means what? See,
Now.
abhi
Always.
means
Always.
facing, towards. Abhi means towards.
Abhimukam, right?
Abhimukam,
facing,
correct.
yeah.
Abhimukam means somebody who is facing you, they are abhimuka to you.
Yeah.
So abhimuka means facing you.
Facing.
Abhi means to face. So Paramatma is what he says. He's filled up everything and he is also facing the amuktas and the muktas. What does it facing means? That is the rupam pratirupo bhavuva. The reflection of him.
Yeah.
All of samsara is the reflection of him. The muktas always in connection with him. So he is abhimuka to all of the muktas and his abhimuka to all of the jivas, because he is our, see in Jyotishya there is a concept called Ishta Devata. So when we do the meditation meet, one of the first things we will do is to figure out Ishta Devata in your chart. So you see that will interest you to come to that meditation meet. So we are thinking of having like a once a month meet to meditate. And also we'll add some, Jyotisha and all of those things to it as a garnish. So one of the things that we will do is Ishtadeva. What Ishtadevata means? What the Devata that gives you mukti. The form of the Devata that gives you mukti is called Ishtadevata. There's one form of your Devata that gives you mukti, and it will be in your chart. It will be in the Navamsha chart, not in the Navamsha is what you have. Your Adrishta is in Navamsha. So that chart will show you that Devata form that will give you mukti. That means that is the one you should yoke to. Your meditations should be to that form. So if
that will be fun, Sunil. But I have a question. Like you were talking about Navamsha and all that. I thought Ishtadevata is that that this is just my thinking, that you feel, the love or, the prayer words. But what we look in the Navamsha and all that, it may be different, like
it's
the
different.
12th house. Navamsha,
So in
right?
the, see, Ishtadevata, technical, I'm talking about the technical word Ishtadevata. So there is like Grama Devata, right? And then you have your family deity, and then you have your Ishtadevata. So there are three different deities, right? Your Grama Devata is the deity of the place. And in different classes I've gone through why we should connect to the Grama Devata from where we have come, because once that connection goes away, there are certain things that the chart will show that something goes, happens. Right? And then you have your own family deity, right? The connection should always be there to the family deity, because your Kutumba Sukha depends on your family deity. For example, for us, it is Srinivasa, right? Venkatesha. So our connection is always to Venkatesha. That is our family deity. Somebody should have, will have from some other place, right? A lot of migrations have happened across India. So, Grama Devata will be some Devata somewhere else. So it is very, very hard to look, maybe your old uncle or your grandma or somebody who is, you should go and find out. If you don't know, they'll probably know. If they are like 2 generations away, they'll probably know, because otherwise it will be just gone. No, you will never know. So make sure that, if you don't know your family deity, or if you are Grama Devata, you need to connect.
So
Ishta Devata,
You won't believe this one, Sunil. Yesterday, my
Yes.
brother revealed that Kanchi Kamakshi is our Ilavelpu.
see,
It was like completely.
Flowed out.
completely, yeah,
Good.
yeah,
Kamachi,
yeah.
what it's our deity also. I mean, it's one of the important deity. Kanchi Kamachi, Kasi Visalachi, Madurai Meenakshi.
He talked about 4 Akshis, and out of which, why our family has a Kanchi Kamakshi. And then he reminded me, my elder sister used to sing Kamakshi. Yeah,
Yeah.
my elder sister. My
So
father
it is-
made my elder sister to do that.
So that means we have emigrated, we have gone, families are gone. It's India is just, it's all
That's
gone.
where I brought this one, because not to diverse, because you said, probably somewhere lineage coming from, Tamil Nadu, to this, right? To my
Exactly, right?
family. I was sorry.
It's closer to us, actually, closer to Chennai. Kanchi
Yeah.
is closer to Chennai. So one thing I want to bring in, me and Sunil had a 10 years of walking experience, and we were talking about Ayyappa. Bindu is for you. We were talking about who is Ayyappa, right? Ayyappa is from Kerala. It's very famous, and most Tamil people, Andhra people, Karnataka also goes to there. But we were talking, who is Ayyappa? And Sunil was giving a beautiful explanation, saying it's one of the Grama Devata. I was blown out. I mean, he said he could be a Grama Devata, put it in a different level.
Elevation, right? So more families take it, more villages take it, then it elevation happens.
So he's a Grama Devata. That's what I heard from Sunil. I mean, he said he could not be any of the god. He's a Grama
See,
Devata.
Grama Devata, if you look at Srinivas Ramanujam, I don't know if Karthik is there. Karthik Radha.
He's
Mr.
here.
Radha?
He's,
No, I don't think he's there.
No, he left.
See,
Tejal
huh?
Tejal is here.
Tejal, you'll know. He went to the temple, right, where the Ramanujam's, Srinivas Ramanujam's mathematicians, Grama Devata.
In Sri Perumbudur, you mean?
Namgiri.
Namgiri, right? So Srinivas Ramanujam was saying that his mathematical intuition coming from Namagiri.
Wow.
And Namagiri is Grama Devata, right? And he went, Karthik actually went there to the temple in wherever it is in Sri Perumbudur. And so Grama Devatas, were in the past, the deities that would protect the place. They're the protectors of the place. The family deities, they were the ones that protect family lineage. Like, somebody didn't have kids, or some, problems in family, fighting, all of those things. First, one of the very basic things that a Jyotisha, if they see the chart, they'll tell you is, maybe what happens is you might have disconnected from your family, your Devata. And so go back to that worship, and then things will sort out.
So Sunil, are you doing a Nadi Jyotisha? I think I heard this in Nadi Jyotisha a lot.
It is also, it is also there. No, I don't know that, but this is very common. And then to Bindu's question, Ishta Devata, see in your Rashi chart, the 5th house will tell you what you like, right? So that is the deity. Like, for example, I like Krishna. So that means there should be some connection to Mercury, Buddha, Vishnu or Krishna, Buddha. right? Same way, if you have Mars looking at 5th house or something, you will have some fiery, like Narsimha or Kartikeya or Rudra, or some kind of those kinds of Ugra Devatas. Like that Shukra, if Shukra is somewhere near, then it will be Kanchi Kamakshi or Lakshmi forms. So all of those, if a moon is looking, then you'll, like, your natural tendency would be Annapurneshwari, Parvati, Uma, those kinds of deities. That is the liking.
Yeah.
But the Navamsha will tell you the technical Ishtadevata is that form of Paramatma that gives you the mukti.
Yeah.
So that
Or
is the
you
more
have
technical.
prayed to in your past births, right?
What's that?
That the deity that you prayed in the last birth or past births.
No. Need
No?
not be. So it will reveal to you what is the form that is, it's like a personal form. Like for you, there's a personal form, which will be very entirely different for me, right? I have a form, very, very entirely different from everybody else, right? So you will see that in your Navamsha, especially Navamsha chart. Again, you have to see the time and make corrections and all that to see what it is. That means it is that which is in the 12th house from a certain point and all of those things. That will tell you the one. If you are eligible and have the capacity to become mukta, that will become your form of the deity. So very, like, we say in this class, your view should always be long term. That means start chanting the mantras of that. That means you're orienting, taking the first step in thousands and thousands and thousands of miles. When you do that, you have taken the first step. And so we want to do that first step in this meditation meet. When we meet, and one of the first things we'll do is do that, Ishtadevata.
I want to share, like, Sunil, if you don't mind, something very interesting. It happened like past 2 days when we are do we have time? Like 2 minutes I'll take. We
have about 15 minutes. Is it a quick one?
Yeah, it's just because the Ayyappa was mentioned, because, we know our Kula Devta and we do all the pujas. Like we came from northern Kerala to Thrissur like around 800 years ago. So, and the Grama Devta we call Tattagam. So that has kind of changed. So that when you change the Grama, that changes. But this Ayyappa Swami, there was a temple, like when we came from northern Kerala, our ancestors were worshipping, and they were actually, along with the Brahmins and the kings, we were the protectors. We were the, the people who will protect that temple, and the main people who, and at that time, that's how it was. So when we came to the Thrissur area, again, there is a temple that where all the Puram and the festivities will only start when the main Panikar walks in front with his sword. So, but we will do all the pujas, but we were not going to that temple. Once in a while they will go, and those things are happening. So then when we did the prashna, it came up, like Ayyappa saying that, like, this is a God that we have been praying for so many generations. Yes. We are not doing it, though Kuladevi is fine. She's happy with whatever we are doing. But Ayyappa came up, and that it was just an indication, but we know who it is, like with all, everything.
This is exactly, and this is very, very famous and very strong in Kerala astrologers. Yeah. They look at the Prashna Shastras and they put it, I think it's called Ashtamangala or something. There's a chart.
Yes, Ashtamangalya Prashnam is what we do. We will be, it's mostly done in temples, but some families we do along with the Shaktayam and all that.
Yeah, so when they put the Prashna, the Ashtamangala Prashna, then what happens is it's going to show like, for example, if something is happening, right, in your life, you go to a Jyotishya, then, you ask the question. At the time of the question, it's called the Prashna Shastra, right, the Prashna chart. It will show you if it's a shapa, right? Usually if there's a problem, there's like a Sarpa Shapa, Pitru Shapa, or something will be there. So then that will show. Or like, if some idol is stolen from somewhere, then, they use a Prashna Shastra to figure out where the stolen idol, who stole it. Everything can be done through that, through the Prashna. So
And
all
if
and then
Bhuvneshwari is not happy, that also comes up.
Chora
Bhuvneshwari
Prashna.
Puja.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and again, and one of the things what they do that comes through the Astamangala is, if something bad happens in a temple and they put the chart and they'll see that the deity is not happy, right?
Yeah.
That means something was broken. There was something that was going on, but then something was broken, or somebody did something, and then the chain was broken, and so they'll tell the remedies for how it should be done and all that, and then things will set right. So all of those things are there, but the sad part is, in a couple of generations, we will lose all of this, because it's not been captured, it's not been documented. People don't know that the lineage is going. So I don't know.
We are finding it very hard to get somebody to do Bhuvneshwari Puja in proper way. And that's the issue that we are facing.
Yeah.
Very few.
Bhuvneshwari, if somebody's Ishtadevata is Bhuvneshwari, that there'll be a Chandra either seeing or in the fifth, right? Bhuvneshwari, Annapurneshwari, Bhuvneshwari.
It's like, it's not like Ishtadevta, but we are supposed to do like the families, Nair families. We do the, and it's a Shakteya Puja, it's at night. So it's not like the Sri Bhagavati Puja, which is done in the morning. So not many people do, not many families do. So the people are like very rare.
Yeah.
They're not finding.
Okay, let's get, good stuff. Let's get back to the final verse of this part. Tasmad Virala Jayata Virajo. No, they're not that. Tato Vishwam Yakramat Sashana Nashane Abhi. Right? So I said, he filled up everything, he fills up everything, and then he's facing those who depend on food and those who don't. That means the mortals and the immortals, those who are in samsara, those who are not in samsara. He's facing. What does Abhi facing means? That means everything else is his reflection. As in, he is our Antaryami Devata and we are his reflection, in the sense that he controls, he's our master. We do. Right? It's like, in many songs of the dasas, they say, right, that we are the doll, that and he holds the string. That was the one who holds the string is the one who is seeing, the one who is dancing. That is us. And it's not muktas, they're aware of that through the Swarupa itself, that's the Swarupa Ananda, but amuktas, we are completely unaware of that. Right? Is what it is saying. So let's see. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right. Tasmad Virala Jayata Virajo Adhipurusha. So now the first creation is happening. So this Virat, the Paramatma in the Vishwarupa described, he's beyond, he's in everything, and all of those things have been described. Now the point of creation is being described. Right? Tasmad, that means from this Purusha, in this infinite Purusha form, Virala Jayata, Virat or Virad. See, Ashtadhyayi, right? Panini's grammar. Panini's genius way beyond. He missed la. Nowhere in Panini grammar there is la. There is la, but there is no la.
La, it means L-A or L-A?
The la is different.
La.
Tamil la.
Vali. Vali, Tani Vali. Right? So that Vali, ra, right? That la, it's in a Vedic Sanskrit.
Okay.
It's not in our Sanskrit today. It's in Kannada. It is in Kannada. I think it's in other South Indian languages. I think
Telugu too.
Malayalam also, Telugu, right?
But they are not using anymore in Telugu also nowadays.
Oh, they're not using it?
No.
Oh, okay.
Tamil and Telugu, it's colloquial. It comes naturally. Tamil,
Kannada is there. So Bindu is saying Malayalam, it's there.
It's gone from North Indian languages.
Yeah. So Hindi, there's no la. There's a la. I don't know about Gujarati and all those things, but Hindi, there is no la. In Paninian Sanskrit, there is no la.
Wow.
But the amazing thing is, it's two different words, two different meanings. See, kala, what is the difference between kala and kala?
Kala is gory night. Kala ratri.
Kala, see, kala means time.
Time.
Kala means black.
Black, gory, yeah. Anything there is, yeah.
So, in Paninian Sanskrit, if you take the la out, there is kala. It becomes kala. Where is kala? It's not there.
Yeah.
Right? So there's but it's there in Vedic Sanskrit, and he wanted to maintain the sanctity of Vedic Sanskrit, but he left out la. So I don't know. I mean, it's very, very, very interesting fact that he left la out. In the sense that he did not consider it as a different akshara, but it is a different akshara because because it comes two different meanings. Mangala, kala, kala, two different meanings.
Even the intonation, right? Mangalam, mangalam.
Mangalam,
mangalam.
No, la is there in Telugu also, Srini.
But it's not being used. That's what I said.
My wife is Telugu teacher there. She corrected me. So,
it is there. I told it is there, but it's not being used anymore.
Yeah.
No.
See, when I in one of the trips that I went to India, I forget the name. Some silk saree.
Kala Mandir, Kala.
Oh God!
Oh my God! Seriously, you telling me?
I'm telling you, they are calling it Kala Mandir, which means that's a very bad meaning. Kala Mandira is different from Kala Mandira.
Man, on top of it, how Srini is saying amazing. I can't even think all that. It is amazing.
No, the thing is, people don't know the difference between la and la. And at one point, I don't know if it's still famous, but there'll be ad playing all the time. Kala Mandira, Kala Mandira. I was like, why are they saying Kala, Kala, Kala? It's a bad meaning. Why would they? No, Kala Mandira, they're calling it Kala Mandira. So that is how it is. If you don't know the difference between la and la, you mess up like this.
Sunil, there are two types of la in Tamil. La is small la, and the la, the column is a small la. Okay.
Yeah.
Kalan, which is mushroom, right? Mushroom is kalan.
There are three actually, Karthik. There are three.
Karthik, you're getting a lesson now.
What is the third one?
Yeah, Pallam.
Yeah, that's a same la. Yeah.
Yeah, Kalam.
Kalan is the same la.
Yeah, that's correct. And then Kile.
Kire, that is a ra.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to tell Sunil. Kire, ra, it's like a Z-A. It's there in Tamil and Malayalam. That ra, param. Yes, param. It's there.
In Hindi, you cannot say that. Phal, phal. Of course, alpa prana, maha prana is also gone from Hindi. So phal, there's no phal.
Yeah,
phala, it is phala.
Say that. So the third ra, I'm not seeing in other. I'm not sure if it is there in Kannada or Telugu.
No, in Kannada there is la and la.
Not the ra. Not the ra. Ya is not there.
Not the vali. Vali is not la. I think it's like in between la and la.
That's the special of the. I mean, special.
There's a third one.
Yeah. He's saying that it comes with a bindu in it. In the Kravadi, there is a bindu inside. That la is almost gone.
Yeah. So think of this. Kala means time. Kala means black.
Yeah.
Right. So there are two las in the Vedic Sanskrit. There are two las.
Yeah.
Kala and Kala. So here, Viral. This la is emerged in the Sandhi. It is Virat. Virat or Virad. So it is like Virat Kohli, right? That Virat. Right?
I was thinking about Virata place where the Pandavas hided. Virata,
right? That's the same Virat, right? So Virad plus Ajayata becomes, it's not in the Yajurveda, it is Virad Ajayata. In Rigveda, Virad plus Ajayata becomes Viral Ajayata.
Okay.
I got you.
Okay.
Same thing if you go back to the first sukta. Agnim ide. It is ida.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That becomes Agnimi ide purohitam. That's the first sukta. Yajnasya devarittijam hotaram ratnadhatamam. Right? The first sukta, the la comes. It's not Agnimile. If you don't have a la, you're gone. It's not Agnimile. It's Agnimile. La, la. Ida, right? Ida or Ida. Praise. Ida. Buddha's wife. Ida.
Ila, yes.
Yeah, Ida. Not Ila. Ida.
Ila.
La, la.
Ila.
Ida. Correct. Ida.
Small la. Yeah.
No.
No, not small, big. This is la, like a
Oh, okay.
Vila. Vila.
Okay. That's interesting.
Ila. Right? So see, all grammar is needed for pronunciation, right? Tasmad viral ajayata. No, tasmad viral ajayata. What is virat or virat? That is the egg, the first egg. Virat means the universe compressed in an egg that came about. Tasmad viral ajayata. Virajo adhipurushaha. The second Purusha, this is the second Purusha. Who is the Adhipurusha within the Virat? Who is the Adhipurusha?
Virat.
If from the navel, the
Brahma.
see Virat is the Jnanis, when they saw this picture, it looked like a lotus flower. The whole the universe that's compressed looked like a lotus flower for them. So they said Padmanabha, the Padma is emerging. When the Padma opens up, who is within it? Adhipurusha, the first person. Who is Adhi means who is going to be the Lord of the creation. Who is that? Adhipurusha.
Brahma.
That Adhipurusha. So the second Purusha here is Brahma. First Purusha is already, that's Paramatma, Purushottama. Now the second Purusha has emerged in the lotus, in the Virat, and that is Adhipurusha. Sajataha ati arichyata paschat bhumim atho puraha. So it's the whole of creation and civilization compressed into one verse. He says, Sajataha ati arichyata means the one, he exceeded all of the creation that is going to come about. That means everything that is going to come about, that he's going to create, everything is going to be inferior to him. Right? Ati arichyata. That means he stood tall. That's why it's called Adhi. Adhi means adhikara. He's got the adhikara, the position where everything that he creates is going to be below him. Right? Ati arichyata. Tasmad virajata virajo adhipurusha. Sa jataha, that Purusha, that Hiranyagarbha jataha, the person who was born, ati arichyata. He exceeded everything else that he's going to create in the future, in this creation. Right? Paschat bhumim atho puraha.
So when you say Sa Jadaha, Sunil, it's a Jadaha. I mean, what does a Jadaha mean?
One who was created. Who was created?
Who created?
When the lotus opened, which is the Jada Prakriti that opened up, that looked like a lotus to Jnana Chakshus.
Okay.
When it opened up, who was sitting there as the creator? The first man, not man, but first person.
Okay.
The first bound person. He's also in samsara, right? When it opened up, he's in Virat, he's Adhipurusha.
Oh,
that means in samsara, that is going to happen, he's the first one. Sajataha, the one who is born like this, Ati arichyata. That means he exceeded everything else. That is, or he exceeds everything else that is going to come later on.
So it's Adi Purusha, not Adi Purusha.
Adi, not Adi, Dha, not Da.
Okay.
Adhi means adhikara. Adhikritya tishtati iti adhi. Adhi means that which sits on. this one as an authority, chair of authority. Sajatyarichata paschat bhumim atho. That means then, while all the things were created, Bhumi was created, and then when the Bhumi was created, after that, Puras got created. Civilization happened. This means where people are live, settle down in groups. That is Pura. So there, that is those were all created. Okay. So it's kind of like, then it goes in detail on what this creation is, but it just says he was born, and then he created all the lokas, and the bhuloka also came from him. That when all of the civilizations came, then within the bhuloka, puras also came. Everything came.
I'll have to go now.
Creation of the lokas, creation of the earth, and then creation of the puras. You can say cities, for example, right? So we will end now. It's 1 o'clock, and so these are the first 5, right? The first 5 were just the before creation, and now just the first, samsara. In the first samsara, Hiranyagarbha is created, and now what happens after Hiranyagarbha takes over will be the next 5, right? And then when people are born, then there is another rupa that comes in, and then that is another Purusha. So we'll see what that is, right? For now, the Purusha in the first 5 is Vishwarupa Purusha, the Purushottama, Vishwarupa Purusha. The second one just introduced, that in the last verse of this first part, it introduced to the second Purusha, which is Hiranyagarbha, right? So we will leave it at this and pick it up next Sunday to take on the next 5.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sunil.
Okay. So we will take it up next week, same time. And okay. Om Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanura Mardhanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagat Gurum. Om.
Thank you, Sunil.
Okay. If there's no question, I'll close it. Is there any question?
Dhanyavadaha.
Thanks.
So now you know how beautiful this Purusha Sukta is. It's amazing. It's a creation hymn. It's beautiful.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
See, Karthik, when you chant now, you think of all of this.
Yeah. Now that's what I'm like putting down all that.
Yeah.
I would like to learn this thing. What do you call that? The proper way of.
You need to have a teacher for that. So don't learn from YouTube. Learn it from a teacher.
We will talk, definitely.
Yeah.
They use the same Purusha Sukta mantra, the Hindi translation in that serial, right? Discovery of India.
No. That is a different one. That is Hiranyagarbha Sukta.
Okay.
Oh, the starting is Nasadiya Sukta. Yeah. And the ending is Hiranyagarbha Sukta.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bindu, can you share that discovery, whatever you're talking about? Can you please give me the link? Thank you.
That one, no? That one. Srishti se pehle saj nahi tha. That is what you're talking about.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks a lot.
Okay, and see you next week.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sunil.
Bye.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Bye.